And we're coming to you live for the Bill Ford Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan, simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network and wherever you're on the free Odyssey app. Good Friday morning, a feel-good Friday. I'm going to do my best. This is a real challenge for me. Life is testing me this morning. Can I achieve a feel-good Friday under these circumstances? And Eddie just played the clip of what I think, and I still think, of JJ McCarthy. Good kid, champion, great in the NFL. It's not going to work out. My team traded up one spot with the New York Jets to select him. So I got to consider if I'm actually going to be a Vikings fan any longer. I don't think there's any point in doing this anymore. It's just stupid. It's a stupid thing to do, is being a fan of that franchise. But whatever. We're going to put that aside for a minute. We'll talk about the other things that sucked last night as I watched the New York Islanders with my own two eyes go down 3-0 to the Carolina Hurricanes. Pure desperation for them. Still couldn't get it done. Sorokin stunk, and that was that. And then, of course, the New York Knicks now are in a series because MVP Embiid showed up on the floor doing good things on the basketball court, but then also did one of the dirtiest things I have seen happen in an NBA game this side of Draymond Green, as he grabs and twists and pulls down Mitchell Robinson, who's made out of paper mache to begin with, but still, now he's got an ankle issue. It's 2-1, and I just everything was going so well, man. Like, everything, like, Wednesday was do a day. I was going to the game. It was the draft. It was the Knicks 2-0. And I'm sitting here today reevaluating my entire life. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, I'm better than you are. I mean, so just to start off with the draft for a second, the two biggest winners in the draft, in my eyes, and number one, is going to be a little bit of a surprise for you.
You going to say the Falcons?
No, I'm going to say Bill Belichick.
Oh, okay.
Bill Belichick was great on Pat McAfee. He was great.
I only saw the clips.
Yes.
But so I didn't see all of it, but I saw the most popular clips, meaning like the Drake May stuff I saw. So, yeah, I mean, he was good.
Just so you know, that's the Bill Belichick that everybody knows behind the scenes. Like,
sure,
there's a personality there. There's somebody who understands every position in the league, and is able to succinctly either rip into that person or actually praise that person, or in the case of Drake May, who the Patriots picked, do a 50-50 on him.
Yeah.
Like, his footwork's not the greatest.
Well,
I mean, I didn't know whether to laugh or just sit there and enjoy it.
I didn't think that was a 50-50, by the way. I know he's trying to be nice to be a 50-50, but I came out of that thinking that he thought that guy was going to.
Right, he was slapping around the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
100%. So which also adds to who he is and what he is, and I thought it was good, and I think I think they announced that he's going to be a part of McAfee. And yeah. I guess he'll be a part of the Manning cast, so he'll be in the ESPN family. But I thought it was refreshing. I like most people, we are all wondering, what are we going to get from the greatest coach of all time? And what we got is the personality that we know of behind the scenes.
Sure.
And if you ever had a couple cocktails with him, if you've ever had a beer with him, it's very enlightening. And I saw that personality last night. So that's good. That's really good. Number two, I would say the New York Giants, because the New York Giants were sending up smoke signals left and right about JJ McCarthy and Drake May, and maybe they did try to trade up.
I believe that they did. Yeah,
I think maybe they made a call. I think they probably had some discussions, but at the end of the day, if they can't get the quarterback that they want, we all know what they needed, and they haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver since Odell Beckham Jr. And this guy is as explosive as any wide receiver in the draft. Many felt he could have been the number one wide receiver in the draft. He could have been the 3 wide receiver in the draft. But at the end of the day, you had three tremendous wide receivers at the top of this draft, and pretty much everybody went chalk until the Falcons took Michael Penix.
Yes, and everything was going the way that I expected. I said that you're going to have those top 3 guys, but then I thought that the Vikings were going to trade up to 4. Or the Broncos or the Giants, and then J.J. McCarthy would go there. It didn't happen that way. And it's funny because that whole Al Dukes in Chicago thing we were laughing at for many reasons. And one of the reasons we were laughing at him is he had Michael Penix going number 6 to the Giants and thinking this guy's not going to go anywhere near 6. And there he was taking an 8 by the Atlanta Falcons.
So Al, why did you say he was going to go 6?
Because you like him.
Yeah.
I love this kid.
I was trying to give Al credit here, and you just took all the credit.
He basically told the guys in Chicago he thinks the Giants are going to take Penix.
Yeah, I know. Because Boomer liked him. I know.
Yeah, I didn't think the Giants were going to take Penix, but I figured he would be at least the top 20 pick. And I know a lot of people are killing the Falcons this morning, and maybe rightfully so. Who knows? This whole thing is a shot in the dark. Half of these players aren't even going to make it.
Right, of course. Well, more than half.
It's insane. And there was no interest last night until that pick happened. Then all of a sudden, Bill Belichick is, okay, now the draft is the story because now things are starting to change a little bit. And then, of course, your team goes up to get JJ McCarthy. And here's the one thing. They're kids. They have no idea what they are about to step into. And they all, just like I did, just like I'm sure Phil did, and everybody who's been drafted, says a lot of stupid things on draft day. Like, Caleb Williams wants to, leave a legacy. Okay, great. Until you find out just how difficult it is, and you got to learn this offense, and you got to get out there, and you find out that no longer are you the best athlete on the field. You're going to be playing against some damn good defenses in that division. And then you get slapped in the face. And then it really comes down to how do you handle that slap in the face? How do you handle that adversity? The other thing, too, I guess the other big winner, I guess you would say, is Daniel Jones here for the Giants.
Yeah. I mean, it's so I love Malik Neighbors. He was the guy. I was 1 for 2 on the Jets and Giants picks. I wanted Malik Neighbors. The LSU wide receiver pedigree is at an all-time high. And getting that guy, I think, is awesome for the New York Giants. He is going to be a stud right away. You're going to see those jerseys everywhere by midseason, probably even before the season. I think it's a great pick. And I do believe that they did want to trade up. Now, the question is where are you getting the next quarterback? Because I still believe all of the stuff that we were talking about yesterday. That the Giants are done with Daniel Jones from Rich Eisen. Jordan Renan saying they're going to try to trade up to get Drake May. So some of those reports yesterday. I still believe all that's true. I just think that the Giants didn't do something stupid to go up and get the guy and were patient, a la the New York Knicks, who have been patient and didn't do that crazy thing. But they also are done with Daniel Jones. So he's going to have another opportunity this year to stay healthy and play well. And then they have the out at the end of the contract this year. So essentially, he's back in that same exact situation he was prior to signing that contract where he's playing this entire season in front of a firing squad. So it could work out like it did last time, or it could be a total mess, but he's coming off another major injury. So is he a winner in the sense that he is now the undisputed quarterback of the new starting quarterback of the New York Giants in 2024? Yes. But, I mean, is he going to be here past this year?
Yeah, well, it all depends on how he plays, I guess, this year and how he comes back off of this knee injury. The one thing I will say is that Brian Daboll, I want to say around the combine or somewhere in and around there. Now, you never know whether these guys are lying to you or not, but he said that Daniel Jones is our quarterback. I think Joe Shane said that as well. But then again, you have all this smoke coming around, and I'm just wondering, did they really actually try to trade up, or were they just doing that to see if they could get something from somebody else and see if they could trade and, acquire somebody or acquire another pick and still be able to get somebody that was on their radar? So you never really know. Only they know. But I think this is the safe pick. I think most Giant fans are probably going to be really happy with this pick. And then we'll have to go through the Daniel Jones car wash again and see what happens with them.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the Jets are concerned, they need offensive linemen. And since Joe Douglas has taken over, he has tried 50 different ways to fix this offensive line. And the one thing he knows is that he's got older tackles, just like he did last year. And so he drafts this kid out of Penn State. By all accounts, supposedly a good player, could be flexible, go left tackle, right tackle.
Well, he's going to have to be flexible because,
yes.
And he's going to have to start. So Olu Fashanu is the pick. He didn't give up a sack in his entire career in college, and he needs to be versatile. And the reason why is you can't draft this guy number 11 overall in an all-in season and have him standing on the sideline next to Rob Saleh. That's just stupid. So you've got your two tackles in Moses and obviously Tyron Smith, but those guys have a history of being hurt, especially Smith. So that's where he's going to have to step in when Tyron Smith misses 3, 4, 5 games like he always does. He's going to have to step in there, but he's also going to have to start at guard at some point during this season as well. So he's got to have to learn every position on that offensive line.
He will.
In training camp and in mini camp and everything else. And I'm sure that Joe Douglas, being the offensive lineman that he is, and finding these diamonds in the rough throughout his career. I know he whiffed big time on Mekhi Becton, but still, he knows that about him. So, it wasn't a need essentially for them, but it doesn't make any sense. It wasn't a need, but it was. Meaning that, they have 2 starting tackles, but those guys aren't making it through the season. So this guy's going to start a tackle at some point during the year.
Yeah, I'm never, look, when they drafted Mekhi Becton, I wanted Tristan Wirfs.
I remember. Yeah.
If you remember,
he was a wrestler, and you loved that.
I love the fact that when offensive linemen, especially interior offensive linemen, but in this case, Wirfs was a tackle. When they're wrestlers, that means they are dedicated. That means they are disciplined. And there's something about a real wrestler, in college and in high school. You can't. You have to be disciplined. And if you're a champion like Tristan Wirfs was, to me that sets himself apart from everybody else. And it's unfortunate. I don't know what's going to go on with Mekhi Becton. I don't know if they sign him or bring him back on a lesser deal. I don't know. Who knows?
Get him out.
You can never have enough tackles, and you can never have enough offensive linemen. So I think both teams did what I think most of us expected. I know Brock Bowers was talked about going to the Jets, but I think Joe Douglas felt like he needed to have another offensive lineman. And what's really amazing, and by the way, the other winner in this draft is the city of Detroit. That looked awesome. I read somewhere where there were 150,000 people there.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of the Nashville draft and how cool that looked, and so many people showed up as an intense, passionate sports city. Obviously, they came off of...
Look at the photos of this.
Yeah, it's amazing. They came off a spectacular year with the Lions last year, and you got great NFL fans out there and a fan base that is reinvigorated, and the NFL doesn't miss. We know we know that.
You know what I understand? I understand there could be reasons to boo Roger Goodell for different reasons, whatever your reasons may be.
Well, it's just a tradition now.
Yeah, I think it is, but I also think that for him, he's the guy, and under his tutelage in this office, they're the ones that are moving the draft around.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how the people are responding to that. That's what I call a 100% win.
Yeah, and I was to be honest with you, I was bummed out because I had the history of the draft in New York when they started moving it around because it was so cool. I just thought it was a tradition, and I went for years and years and years. But I mean, you can't argue the results here.
No, you can't. I mean,
everywhere they take it, it's a humongous success. And you nailed it, by the way. Roger Goodell, back surgery.
Yep.
So you were dropping.
I saw him hugging though.
He was hugging, but
he wasn't doing it like they weren't lifting him off the ground and everything.
I think they shot him up, is what they did. A little cortisone shot.
Probably shot him up a little bit, and they probably also told him, take it easy on the commission. He's just coming off a back surgery.
Yeah, because sometimes those guys, like those big linemen, they'll like grab him and squeeze him and pick him up.
I forget. It was the first big guy that was taken. He kind of
and I think
went in.
Oh, you're talking about Joe Alt? No, he wasn't there. So it was Latham.
No.
Latham, the kid from Alabama. So the interesting thing, I think he only did, 15 picks, I think.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there was no real drama. There was no drama at the top of this draft at all. The drama started with your team and the Atlanta Falcons. And I, for one, sit here today, and I hope the Falcons got this right. And I know that Kirk Cousins and his group of people are not happy.
Yeah,
because
I don't necessarily believe that.
No, the agent came out and said
Yeah, I know the agent did that. Kirk Cousins doesn't get angry about anything.
Well, he's wants, he would like the team to get better in the short term.
I understand
like some
that.
sort of like Brock Bowers. He would have loved Brock, but they got Kyle Pitts. But would he have loved Rome Odunze? And by the way, Chicago, exactly. Roma Dunze and Caleb Williams.
Yeah, pretty good. I know.
Whew.
Well, that's why the Vikings GM panicked and went up and got JJ McCarthy because he's watching every team in the division get better and younger, and they're doing nothing but being stuck in the mud.
Well,
So
your Vikings also traded up to get an edge rusher.
I do like that guy a lot.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Dallas. I think he's awesome. And learning about him yesterday and reading about him and how talented he is, I'm all in on him. That's great. But when you've got a quarterback who's not going to make it and is essentially
Well, you don't know that.
Christian Ponder or AJ McCarron or one of those guys.
Stop, man. I can't believe you're poo-pooing on this guy's dreams.
I'm not poo-pooing
Like,
on
you
his
gotta
dreams.
get, like, so
He's got an
maybe
opportunity ahead of him. I just don't.
that's a great place for a young quarterback to go. Minnesota is a good team. I love the head coach. He's a former quarterback. It's a great place for a young kid to go. And this kid really seems like he's dedicated and he's smart. Plus, hopefully, they don't have to start him. Let Sam Darnold start, see how it goes.
I mean, do you hear
I know.
I feel like this is an argument I have with Gina, and I'm like, I'll stop in the middle. I'll be like, do you actually listening to what you're saying right now? Do you hear yourself?
I just think it's a good. I think it's a good place to go. They got plenty of offensive talent, and much like Caleb Williams, he's going to step into a place where, there should be success there, especially with the head coach.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
And I can't believe you.
I'll watch it from afar because I think I'm done. I think this was it. This broke me. Remember when Al asked me the other day, he's like, what was the thing that broke you as a Mets fan? You went from super passionate to not. And I said them blowing it in the last game at Shea Stadium and 2 years in a row and that whole thing and that sad ending and the doors closing and Seaver and Piazza and then all of that. I think this is the moment now with 10 years down the road when someone says, what was the moment that you finally broke you with the Minnesota Vikings? And I'll say it was cumulative. But the straw that broke the camel's back was trading up one spot with the Jets to select JJ McCarthy. A guy who wasn't even thought about as a first-round pick until like 2 weeks ago.
Until Jim Harbaugh said people are going to meet the kid and he's going to be a first-round pick. Do you remember that?
Right. I mean,
and he said top 10, and he landed on number 10.
And I guarantee.
How about Jim Harbaugh?
I guarantee you that they got duped by the Bronco or that Joe Douglas played the Vikings GM Kwesi Adolfo-Manso like a fiddle. I guarantee he did. He was like, "Hey, I'm getting calls from everybody here."
Well, they had to get up in front of Denver.
Yeah,
Denver ended up with Bo Nix.
Right, but I'm telling you that they probably like Bo Nix more than JJ McCarthy, and they could have stayed at 11 and taken him. And Joe Douglas was like, "Oh man, I could just big old Joe Douglas, just playing my idiot GM like a ukulele, going, I'm getting calls left and right about this JJ McCarthy, and then they trade a bunch of picks to move up one spot when they didn't need to."
Maybe he'll turn out to be C.J. Stroud. You never know.
Man, I started. I like it, and I'm in at the Islander game, and I'm just like, when that happened, I just started turning on everybody. Like I was like real happy and like talking to people. And then after that, I was turning.
It's
on
tough
people.
when you want to go to a game and you got to sit in a suite.
No. It was awesome. They were great, but I'm just saying, like there was a moment last night that, like, the Islanders are down, the Knicks are down, the Vikings take McCarthy, and I'm just sitting there, and like everybody in the box is not happy too because they're watching their team about to go down 3-0.
Yeah,
and I was just like, ugh. And I had to, then you have to check yourself. Be like, listen, you having a good time?
It's sports.
Everything's good.
It's sports.
It's sports. My man Carlos there, who, by the way, he the guy who works in that box and makes the drinks.
Yeah. I can
like
tell. He did a good job last night.
His dream is to have you in there and make you a Casamigos. And he goes, I will make him the best Casamigos drink of all time.
I'm sure he will. Looks like you did a good job. Real quick, Kevin in Bayonne, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, Kevin?
Kevin from Bayonne, first-time caller, long-time listener.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, G, I
yeah.
just want to talk to you about something.
Sure.
You said you're ready to give up on your Minnesota Vikings.
I am. Yep.
All right. How long have you been a Vikings fan?
The first season that I vividly remember, I was 12 years old. It was 1994. That I would say that was the first year I was really into it. So now we're talking about it's 30 years now.
All right, 30 years. I've been a Dolphins fan since 1984 when Marino came on his team. That's 40 years. I haven't seen a Super Bowl either. I haven't given up on my team. I don't think you only get one team. You can't give up on Minnesota, bro.
Yeah, don't give up on them, man. You know that.
I mean,
Kev's a solid guy. Do not give up on your team.
Everybody's different, though.
Eddie loves his Dolphins. I played in the Bermuda Triangle.
Tapped out
I love
a
my
long
teams.
time ago.
What can I tell you?
Eddie tapped out on the Dolphins a long time ago.
No, I still root for him.
He loves Tua.
He doesn't
Tua!
care if
Tua!
they win or lose anymore, man.
No, I do.
Come on.
Not as much,
Tua!
but I still,
Tua!
I do.
I just think it's time. You know how John Sterling was like, it's time? I feel like that with the Vikings. It's over.
Boomer's right. You may have drafted the guy you don't like, but you do have Sam Darnold at quarterback.
Hey, Al.
Yes.
Big Phoenix energy.
Yeah.
Remember that. And, sometimes when it's time. It's time. Don't feel that way.
No, it's time. I
No,
feel
it's
like it's a perfect analogy. When John Sterling just woke up one day and was like, I can't do it anymore. That's the way I feel about my Vikings fandom. I just can't. It's just so stupid. It's just they just can't ever get it right. It's the dumbest decision I ever made in my life to be a Minnesota Vikings fan.
All right, so you're screaming and yelling right now. All I want to know is, what was the alternative? What did you want them to do?
Not take a guy that was going to set them back for 5, 6, or 7 years.
Okay, all right. So
anything.
But what did you want them to do with their 2 first-round draft picks?
When I say anything, but take a quarterback or trade up and do that, I mean anything.
So you were good with Sam Darnold going into the season then?
No, I hated that too. They blew it before that. They blew it with Kirk Cousins. They screwed that up. They should have kept him there.
So you wanted to pay Kirk Cousins $40 million a year, so you couldn't afford Justin Jefferson.
Okay, figure it out. You got cap guys. You're so smart. I don't care.
Sometimes
figure it out.
We sit here as fans sometimes.
I mean
and we scream and yell about things.
Okay, so if you're going to let him go, then do a better job of replacing him, as
Carl.
opposed to JJ McCarthy and Sam Darnold. Okay, if you're going to let him go if you're going to pay Justin Jefferson over him. But don't come back with Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy.
But you have to remember that he also blew out his Achilles.
Kirk Cousins, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, Carlos did a hell of a job last night. I could tell. Did a hell of a job.
Hey,
5 stars for Carlos.
Listen, man.
I can't
I'm
even
here.
imagine
It's
you
a
driving
feel-good
back
Friday.
to Sable last night on the Southern State Parkway.
Yeah, so I was with a friend of mine, Jamie, and his son, Kieran, and Kieran drove us. And it was funny because it was just like you're leaving, you're upset the Islanders lost, and Kieran didn't put the directions into his GPS because the dad was going to tell him what to do. So everybody's quiet in the car and just upset that the Islanders lost. And then so the dad's listen, I'll just tell you where to go. Don't put it in the GPS. It's fine. So then he's quiet, he's scrolling through his phone. And he just starts pointing at the where to go. He just points. And then so the kid's what is he's
nervous.
He's
18.
nervous.
He's got a big star like you in the car with him.
So he's nervous.
You were with Dua Lipa this week.
Right.
Think about the way he sees you, and you were with Dua Lipa.
So he's grabbing the thing, and then the dad's just scrolling the phone and pointing, and then finally the kid snaps. He's the nicest kid in the world. Said 10 words the whole night, and then he turns to his dad. He goes, "Words! I need words! Tell me where to go! I need words!" It was awesome. I was everybody just got broken down last night at some point. I need words!
That's what happens when your team drafts a quarterback at number 10. That's what happens when your basketball team loses and Embiid shows up as an MVP.
Yeah, Jerry's going to tell us.
Unfortunately, the hockey team you're playing against, I keep telling you, they're one of the 4 best hockey teams in the NHL, and they're playing like it.
Yeah, buckle up because you're going to see them next. Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.